First of all, no, I have not cancelled What If Naruto into the Marvel Universe, nor have I cancelled What If Naruto was a Junkin swordsman, so do not worry, guys. They will be up soon, just give me some more time, guys. I'll be posting them very soon. But I have cancelled What If Naruto was... True Potential was released by S-Rank Uzumaki, yes. That's doing incredibly bad. It seems like you guys don't want that, but as I said, I will never leave you guys out to dry, so I'll be giving you something new. What if Naruto got stuck in an apocalyptic world? I know that many of you guys are gonna love this one. Yes, just, well, check it out and I'm sure that you guys will enjoy. So just sit back, relax, and yeah, stay tuned for those what ifs coming your way. Do have 4 channels that I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So stay tuned for those, and yeah, let's jump right into this new series. Don't forget to comment down below and tell me if you're new so I can personally welcome you myself. So without further ado, let's begin now, guys. It came faster than anyone could prepare for. The sounds of war, kunais clashing, screams of death. However, it caused everyone to stop fighting for a single moment and glance up to the heavens. The blood in their body froze up. The skies darkened, the harsh bellow of noise, like righteous thunder. It assaulted the very fabric of the heavens. For everyone there, it might as well be an envoy of the Shinigami that has come to judge all humans. That was the day that Naruto Uzumaki, Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi, former dead last of Konoha Academy, and dreamer of the title of Hokage saw, when he had just finished defeating Gaara of the Sun. He heard the harsh rumbling of thunder as he glanced up to the skies. The clouds seemed to part, like a divine deity was coming down. In the skies he saw a gigantic rock from beyond his realm came down. It crashed down upon Konoha, but not just the village, upon every other shinobi that lay within the walls. What Naruto remembered of that time was that Gaara and his siblings had retreated, and someone had saved him. He did not know who saved him though, because he was grabbed in a hurry. As the rock from outside of their realm fell deeper and deeper, it made him wonder about one of Jiraiya's lessons before the sage had pushed him off that cliff. To access the Fox power, the words had popped back up in his head: if death was gonna come for you the next day, how were you gonna live your life? Now, in the present. The great rock had came down from the heavens and crashed, and what followed was something that Naruto has never yet seen before. The sky exploded with hot fire as thousands of stones spread from Konoha to the hidden stone. Trees were pulled from the ground like they were made of paper as violent windstorms collided with Naruto. He did not remember much, as he remembered being thrown. The adrenaline from his body was leaving him and his conscience was failing him. But someone was pulling him though. He then heard it before he passed out. The person that was carrying him was screaming, but his body gave up at that moment. He was already tired from facing off against Gaara, and he was not strong enough to keep his eyes open. The next day, day 2, was not much better. When Naruto woke up, he was not in the hospital. He was under a pile of fallen trees. Luckily, the way they were set, they had not completely crushed him. His entire body was still aching though, and he could not see left or right, just up. His body was too hard for him to even scream for help. His wounds were too great for him to even save himself. As he passed out once again, day 3, that was a little better. His body still hurt, but he had begun to feel a bit better. He figured that this was normal because he'd always heal quickly, so why would now be any different? Of course, it was still dark outside. The trees were set, and he could see through the gaps. Who would have thought that Haruka's stupid survival lessons would have come back to haunt him? His stomach started to rumble. He was hungry. He couldn't remember the last time he ate a proper meal. He couldn't know what was going on outside at the moment. He groaned as he tried to move his arms and legs, however, they were not listening to him. He was still stuck and he was still in a lot of pain. Damn, perhaps he'll have to give himself a reminder that releasing that much chakra at once was never a good thing, as he ended up falling back asleep. Day 4 was a bit better than day 3. Oh sure, he couldn't really move too much, but his body had recovered enough for him to get to a soldier pill. He always hated the damn things. The taste was downright awful. However, it gave his teeth something to chew on and something to swallow. Maybe that will help him recover faster. As he lay within his little shelter, the cold, dusty air blasting outside like a tornado, he wondered. Kakashi, Sakura, and yes, even Sasuke. He wondered if they were alright. Had they seen and heard the large stone fall as well? On day 5, he found a problem that no amount of soldier pills could fix. He was getting thirsty and he really needed to use the bathroom. However, the hope that he could use his body was really small. But it was way better compared to yesterday. But not the best right now. How he wished that he could scratch his nose or any other part of his body that irritated him at the moment. Unfortunately, he couldn't do anything about any of those things. The only thing he could do was feel the wind, bring dust, grass, and small stones that smacked against his face. And those things were hitting him as well because he was not able to move his arm to defend himself. Later that night, his eyes snapped open as something smacked against his forehead as he realized that he had fallen asleep once again. As he started to think about the situation once again, another smack landed on his head. What the? As he glanced up, all he saw was darkness. It was then that he noticed the smacks against his head. They were actually wet. One smack, then another, then another, then another. As Naruto's eyes brightened as he heard it, rain was pouring down. A grunt here, a stab of pain here. Naruto got a final good spot as he opened his mouth. It tasted kind of odd, however, he wasn't going to complain, he was too thirsty for that. On day 6, that was probably the worstest day, because he realized he did not have to go to the bathroom anymore. Yep, definitely not telling anyone about this. On day 7, he found himself facing another problem, his stomach. It had been doing this since day 1, but now, it was getting to him really badly. And not to mention, he could hear potential food sources skittering over the fallen trees. Well, at least there was one good thing that came out of it. Now he can move his body enough to scratch an itch that was bothering him. His pants had also dried up. Damn it, that was even hard to think about. A rather embarrassing moment for him. Day 8. He was awoken by rainfall. As Naruto reached to get to a comfortable spot until one of the drops hit the ground next to him. Naruto's ears picked up on a strange sound as he heard a sizzling sound. Glancing towards his left, Naruto saw the ground had melted. Another drop landed on his jacket. Naruto's eyes widened as he saw the thing eat right through it. As Naruto groaned in pain as he tried to move himself to a place that had more shelter, more and more raindrops came down as Naruto watched the ground melt apart. As raindrops struck it, Naruto closed his eyes and prayed to whatever god was listening that this rainfall would stop soon. Time skip, day 9. The rain had stopped by the middle of the day. Naruto breathed a sigh of relief that he had kept himself and his bones from turning into soup. Unfortunately though, the covering of trees that had sheltered him had weakened a little. He could see the outside a bit more, but it was no different. He could not see the sun. All that covered the sky was wind filled with dust, as Naruto was still hungry. On day 10, Naruto was now starving. He hadn't eaten for 10 days and his body was still taking more energy than he wanted to heal. So with that being the case, please don't judge him as he crunched down on the 3 or 4 crickets that wandered near him. Yep, this was also another secret that he will never tell anyone. And yeah, don't judge him for the ants either. They shouldn't have crawled on him. Slowly between everything that happened, Naruto started to lose count. However, he could finally move. Though his body was still sore, he succeeded. Finally! I hope I never see another insect for the rest of my life. Probably gonna have to avoid Chino as well. As Naruto maneuvered his body so he was sat comfortably. Now then, what should I do? I don't know what is going on outside. I also don't know where anyone else is. Kakashi Sensei would say I need some kind of plan. Well, I can do that. I hope he thought. As Naruto pulled a stick from one of the trees that he tried to map and plan as best as he could. It made his head hurt, however there was no getting around it, and this was also its only shelter. Let's see, if I'm here after that guy or whatever carried me, maybe I was there. And I went after Gaara from the west, so Maybe Yeah, the village is over there, I think. Naruto could not stay here and he knew that. The falling acid was eating away at his cover more and more. Alright, I'll rest here one more night then. I'll move out, said Naruto in the morning. As Naruto realized he was talking to himself. Oh god, he was going insane. When the next day came, Naruto stepped out, raising one leg after another. Both of them were working just fine. There was still some stiffness in his leg, however. Well, he should make it back to Konoha just fine. And find someone, hopefully Kakashi or Sakura. Hell, at this point, he would even take Sasuke. Not seeing anyone for so long was starting to mess with him, as he really could not wait to go home, take a shower, and eat up a bountiful cups of ramen. He had to wait though until the dust the wind settled down. He was already lost, and there was no need to get more lost. So he decided to make plans for this few hours that he had to wait, doing that forward-thinking stuff Kakashi talked about. In case he could not come back here, he needed to find another place that he could rest his head and get away from the acid rain. So with that, Naruto stepped out. The wind was a lot calmer, however. It was still blowing quite heavily, but it was better than stepping out earlier. When Naruto stepped out and looked out to the world, his eyes widened in shock. It was far worse than he had assumed. Far, far worse. All of the trees had been toppled over. The leaves had died and withered away on the ground. There was nothing but a barren wasteland covered for miles. Dust, dirt, and trees. There was just nothing. He scanned his surroundings as he expected. He had no idea where he was. He didn't know where he was at all. He couldn't see a sign of the village or any other living soul. Thankfully, he planned for this as he turned back to his home, as he saw the acid rain had indeed been eating the bark. He couldn't stay here if he did. He wouldn't have a shelter by tomorrow morning. As Naruto decided to follow the map that he had written in the sand some time ago. As Naruto started to walk, strangely enough, he was still feeling the effects of chakra exhaustion. Maybe that was because he didn't rest properly. Keep on snapping in and out of consciousness, he didn't know. But he still felt strange. As he started to walk, trying his best to get some good luck and hope that he was going in the right path. He brought his hand up and covered his eyes as turbulent winds and sand rushed against his face. The more he walked, the more he started to worry that he was the only person left in existence. He spotted fallen kunai, broken corpses, stripped of their skin and flesh, and torn shinobi clothing, representing the battle that happened about a week ago. As he walked, there was a thunder that reached through the sky and above. He looked up as he saw the dust-written, dark yellow sky. The sun was nowhere to be seen. Violent lightning strike clashed through the clouds, and Naruto knew what was coming. More acid rain would come down, and this time, there would be no falling trees to protect him. He was also sure that he was too far away to run back. Not that he could even find it, the way the place was so filled with dust and smoke. Thunder and flashes rolled across the sky as Naruto saw something in the far distance. He didn't know what it was exactly because the dust was pushing close to his face, but he got closer and closer. Before him there was a massive wall of stone, so tall it might have gone straight up to the heavens, to his point of view. As Naruto touched the wall, he gasped. Relief filled his heart and hope filled his mind. He recognized the wall as a part of Konoha wall that guarded the village. While he was not inside the village yet, he had still managed to make it before the rain fell. With any luck, he could tell his team what happened to him. Then they could tell him what the hell happened during his time away. As Naruto limped to the front gates of Konoha, using the wall for support. He was still hurt after all, but he didn't realize something. Konoha was never this quiet. Ever. As he finally arrived towards the front of the village, and what he saw made his bones tremble, his heart freeze up, his eyes widen in shock. The giant gates that guard his home, one of them was embedded with so much kunais and shurikens. It seems like it was used for a practice target. The other was ripped off the hinges. Due to the wind, it was creaking rather loudly. Bodies. Endless bodies were licked on the ground. Konoha shinobi, sand shinobi, sound shinobi. And even some other nations were there. But none of them were alive. There was just no one. No one except for him. As Naruto trembled as he accidentally stepped and snapped some brittle bones. He tried to move through them, trying not to disrespect them by crushing their skulls and their body parts. When Naruto stepped inside the village, he honestly wondered if being outside would have been better. Every time he tried to find some hope, he felt like some deity out there was just trying to mock him even more by showing him this hopelessness situation that he was currently in. Konoha is home. It seems that the very essence of life had been broken. Shops and stalls, cracked windows and bottles. Man, woman, child. Each killed in some horrific manner. As Naruto turned his head, it all almost made him drop to his knees. What happened? He said, as he took notice of how some houses have crashed down into others. It was almost like some crazy natural disaster struck the place while he was gone. Was it that rain stuff from before, he wondered, remembering what it did to his log that was his house for the last week. He supposed it was not that impossible for it to happen to the rest of these structures. Unfortunately, the wind started to pick up. It blew with such ferocity, he had a hard time standing up against it. Then he heard a hissing as he looked down, to see a hole in the street. Naruto's eyes widened. The rain. He picked up his pace to get to his home faster, but he wondered what happened to his apartment complex if this was the village. As he ran, he desperately tried not to look at the mutilated bodies, otherwise he might puke. Arriving to his apartment complex, he could tell by the open deck that he stood on when he was a child. The ground started to hiss and smoke as Naruto rushed towards the building. As he saw, one of the floors had collapsed into the other. A pile of bones lay in the corner, as Naruto did not wish to know how that was going to be. Still, his part of the building was still standing for the moment. As he walked, it creaked and leaned to the side. Thankful they held up there as he limped towards his floor. There was no need to get to his keys, the door was already busted down. By the time he went in, the thunder and lightning and rain came down full swing, as Naruto collapsed down to his knees. On top of his falling door, he caught his breath for about 2 or 3 minutes. The sound of the weather outside assaulted his ears. When he felt like he had rested enough, he pulled himself to his feet. As he did so, he looked through the window and saw. The broken window, he was able to see what was going on outside, as he saw the smoke rising up from the rain striking the ground and buildings. Sakura, Kakashi-sensei, Sasuke, I hope you guys are alright, said Naruto. As the harsh rain was blowing a bit too close, so Naruto picked up his door as he placed it back up. This was not an easy task. His body had still not fully healing yet after what he went through. However, it worked as Naruto leaned it up. But it needs something to hold it up, so he took the tablecloth. Taking the kunais that he found all around, he stabbed them in the wall by the tablecloth, using it to hold the door so it would not fall back. Once he was done, he sat down. Naruto still could not wrap his mind around all of this. Just what the hell had he went through? And what the hell happened to the village? Where did this rain come from? Getting up to his feet, Naruto walked toward the sink. Turning the knob, to his shock, water came out. He was rather surprised. As Naruto quickly started to drink, not knowing how long it would last for. With his thirst quenched, Naruto did not know how long it would work for. Hell, he did not even know if it would work 10, 20 or 50 minutes from now. Plus, he had no food. Even all of his precious ramen had been taken. If someone was out there, he was going to make them rue the day when they take Naruto Uzumaki ramen. That fell aside, thankfully. Before his duel with Neji the day before he went shopping, sure, all of his food was gone, but he still had a few gallons of jugs that had some things inside, as he dumped what was ever inside and filled it up with the water. He wished he could keep them cold, but the refrigerator was broken and the power was out. Once the 30 jugs were full, Naruto chuckled. As he organized them, 5 jugs would go to bathing water, another 5 for drinking water, another 5 would be for cooking water, the last 3 would be for whatever else he needed. Hopeful that lasting for a little while until he managed to find some help. And yet Aruka-sensei gave him a D in survival training. However, the smile dropped from his face as he thought about Aruka and the others. He would gladly let himself get pulled by the ear if Aruka was here, to scold him once like he used to do when he was younger. However, there was no one coming. He couldn't dwell on those thoughts for long though. Crack! The harsh winds caused his already broken window to completely collapse. Just great, said Naruto, as the rock and wind were blowing so hard. As he walked, whoever ransacked his home he believed during the invasion, it seems that they were quick to take what they wanted. As Naruto ripped off the shower curtains, as he proceeded to nail them in the wall with the kunais. There, that should hold for now, said Naruto as he watched the curtains flutter by the winds. He just hoped that the rain did not blow on them, because he was sure that they weren't acid-proof. As Naruto ended up collapsing on his bed and falling asleep after, he went to the bathroom and cleaned up some of his wounds. He knew that he healed fast, but he didn't want to get sick, and he also wiped the blood off him as well. He did not know there was so much, seeing that he was not able to see Namiru. He was covered in blood. How badly was he actually hurt? He wondered to himself. But he was too tired to think about that now as he crashed. Boom! Naruto was startled awake by something loud as he quickly rushed. Moving the curtain aside, Naruto saw that one of the buildings outside had crashed hard. He watched as it crashed into other buildings, causing them to tumble over as well. Wood exploded everywhere as the rain was still falling. Naruto swallowed a lump in his throat. If anyone was alive, he really hoped that they weren't over there. As he ended up falling asleep for a few more hours, when he woke up the rain had stopped. There was still harsh sounds of wind battering his windows though, but the rain was no longer. As Naruto surveyed the damage to the roof, it seems the acid rain has not melted through it yet. At the very least, he hoped the apartment rooftop would hold until he found somewhere else to live. With that done, Naruto realized he really needs something to eat. He poured himself a few cups of water just in case, as he drank them rather quickly, hoping that it will hold him for now. Not the best breakfast he had, but he was not in a condition to complain at the moment. Kakashi always told him that he never thought things through, and he had to change that. Something about something building maturity. And Naruto realized he needs some of that right now. He needed to make a plan, as he had to find a proper place where he would get food. He jotted down some notes on the location around Konoha, but before that, he went under his bed and pulled out a box. Inside said box was his goggles. The goggles that he used to wear when he was much younger. As he placed them on to protect his eyes, placed on a cloak over himself. As Naruto grabbed an obi and tied it around his waist, so the cloak stayed over him. As Naruto brought 3 backpacks with him, hoping that he could make it to a convenience store, grabbing a weapon just in case. Alright, let's go, said Naruto as he made his way out. The rough winds were terrible on him, as the storm seemed to have grown more terrible, the winds moving rather roughly towards him. However, he was not gonna let something like that stop his advances. As Naruto noticed a house, it looked better from the outside as he made his way knocking, but no one answered, so he shoulder bumped the door several times until it opened. He then grabbed the coat rack and used it to hold up the door. Inside was worse than his. The place was toppled over as he wondered if this was because of what happened, or if this was the invasion. He went to the kitchen as he stopped, looking towards the refrigerator. He needed things that didn't need to be cold, so he went towards the cabinets. Yes, said Naruto, as he noticed a can of food. It did not look very appetizing. However, he had to take what he can get. As he took the cans of food out, he stuffed it in one of the empty backpacks. Not to mention his house was nearby, so he could probably hurry back. He could drop them all off and hurry out and set out again. That is what he did. Over the next hour, he ran back in front. He collected canned food, bottles of water, chips, bread, and whatever else he could find. Hell, he even took the towels and clothing from the houses. If he found a female survivor, he was just not mention how he came across female unmentionables. As he could imagine Sakura attacking him for that. As Naruto picked up everything, cleaning supplies, everything, just in case, as he rushed him back to his safe house. On his next trip out, Naruto looted the place. It was a store, bentos, more water, chips, everything. And he also found a map of general areas of Konoha. However, stepping outside, the winds had gotten far stronger. Piles of bones that were all over the place were being thrown everywhere. As Naruto resisted the urge and not focused on that. Soon night settled over his apartment, thankfully. There was no rain tonight as he filled his stomach. With that said and done, he had to find someone else. There must be someone else inside the village. As Naruto believed that he can finally do the clone jutsu now, so he brought his hand together. Shall clone jutsu? However, he did not get what he expected. Naruto gripped his chest tightly as he dropped to his knees. Agonizing pain coursed through his flesh, as Naruto was on the ground trembling for a good minute. Before the pain subsided, Naruto was shocked and confused. What the hell was that? He thought to himself. He tried again. This time the pain returned. It was far worse than the first time. Something was wrong with him, and he couldn't cast jutsu at the moment. That was rather worrying. However, he had to go the old-fashioned way though. So he headed out once again. Decided to search on his own. There was no rain tonight, so he was safe. Using the map, Naruto tried. He tried and tried. The more he walked, the more his hand gripped the map tightly as he realized something that he's been trying to block out for the longest time now. What if he was the only one left? No, it can't be, Naruto thought to himself as he kept on walking. But what if he was not the only one in Konoha, but the entire world? That was how he felt as he kept on walking. As he walked, his body slowing down, the fear of being the only one left in the world. For years he had wished for the people to stop with the glares and back talk. But now, at least seeing someone, he would have loved to see them, but now, all he saw was corpses. Corpses on the ground. Toki, Ayame, where were they? The restaurant family, where were they? His sensei, his team, the other Jonins. How could all of them just be gone? Arriving at Ichiraki Ramen, someone has to be out here. Naruto torn through. As Naruto was getting frustrated, there was no sign of Toki or Ayame. None at all. Naruto cried out their names, over and over again, banging his fist into the wall. Damn it, said Naruto as he dropped to his knees. However, he refused to give up. Pulling out a pencil, Naruto marked an X on the spot. No one was here, but someone had to be around. Hello, he cried out. Someone! Hello, he begged, calling out into the isolation. As Naruto then saw blood, he followed the blood. It went into a kitchen location. As much as he liked to raid the place, he would have to come back later. As he kept on walking, following the blood. As the blood laid him right through, he passed through the kitchen area, going back on the main street before he went into a house. He then heard a noise. Naruto's heart stopped. Rushing as fast as he could, Naruto rushed and tore the door open. As he realized what was the source of noise, a woman. Multiple cuts and bruises were on her. Multiple. Her unkempt hair torn all around the bed sheets. Naruto blinked in wonder. It's Hinata Sensei. Kurenai Sensei, said Naruto, remembering her name. He had only probably met her 2 times. He saw her when she came to pick up her team at the academy and in the preliminaries at the Chunin exams. Kurenai looked bad. Yeah, she looked really bad. Naruto wondered how she was even alive at this point. Her quivering lips and her panting, her breath coming out short, made him nervous. She looked borderline dead. Kurenai-san, said Naruto, walking over. She didn't answer, so he stepped closer. As he got closer, he was overjoyed to see her, but he did not want to startle her. As he reached and touched her arm, swipe! A kunai swiped across his hair, as her hand had lashed out so fast. Naruto gasped and stumbled back, as she swung her kunai back in front. Her hair covered her eyes, but he could see the sweat coming down her face. Her eyes were unfocused, her body was twitching, her swings were undefined. Kurenai, it's me, Naruto. Let me help you. We don't have time for this, said Naruto. However, she did not stop. Her arm kept on swinging wildly. However, her energy started to run out. As her hand collapsed, her body slumping on the floor. Rushing over, she had fell unconscious. Naruto checked her head. She was insanely hot to the touch. She must be sick. I gotta get her out of here, said Naruto. Thunder crashed throughout the sky, as Naruto feared that the rain would come back. Glancing around, Naruto checked on everything, as he made sure to take all the medicine in the place that he could. As Naruto placed his goggles over her eyes, she looked kinda funny with them on. He then pulled up his face mask and tightened the hood of his jacket, as he covered her with a cloak that he found. The sky got even darker. Damn it, he thought to himself, as Naruto picked her up and placed her on his back. Damn it, how long will it take for him to fully heal? He wouldn't say this out loud, however, she was kind of heavy. He also tried not to think about certain things that were pressing against his back. Damn it, Rationing, now I'm becoming like you, Naruto thought with a groan, as he adjusted his grip on her legs as he slowly made his way down. As he went down the stairs, as Naruto stepped outside, massive tornadoes could be seen within the distance, raging, at least 4 of them. Damn it, said Naruto as the storm was getting stronger. Don't worry, Kurenai-san, said Naruto as he tightened his grip. I'll get us to safety. A flash of lightning ran across the sky. The ground started to sizzle. Naruto tilted his head just in time. It seems like it was just a reaction that shocked him even more, because as he did so, an acid rain passed and melted the ground. Naruto increased his speed as fast as he could go in his weakened state. By the time he got back, he was drenched with sweat, his body feeling exhausted. He almost dropped Kurenai a couple of times, but he could not do that. He refused to let her get any more hurt, so he ran. Even with his body aching, he ran to protect her. As Naruto trudged up the stairs, finally he arrived and laid her on the bed. As Naruto released a chuckle, He got her here, he said, a happy smile on his face. Well, Kurenai-san, said Naruto, welcome to my humble abode. As Naruto looked at her body, before he swallowed the lump in his throat. Please don't kill me, he prayed. He actually thanked Kami that Sakura wasn't here, or any other woman. Forget the apocalypse going on outside, they would have killed him, in the safety of his own home. First he took off her shoes. He then leaned her up and got her out of her clothing. He didn't know what this material was because it looked like some kind of white bandage, but it was easy to slip her out without disturbing her too much. As he threw her shirt to the floor before he worked her out of her red armored blouse, there was numerous cuts and stabs all over her. However, she was still really beautiful, much more beautiful than those models that he used his sex jutsu for that he saw in the magazines. Once those were removed, her undergarments were left. He has never been this close to a real woman before. As Naruto took a breath, he tried very hard not to stare at her exposed body. As he tried his best, he left her underwear on, as he did not want to give her more reasons to kill him once he recovered. He then got some of the alcohol, the drugs, and started cleaning her wounds. As she winced, as he placed a rag on her forehead, trying to lower her fever that she had, as he cleaned and wiped her wounds. As the rags kept on getting soaked with blood, she was losing blood fast. He had to move quickly, Naruto thought to himself. As Naruto scratched the back of his head, he did not know that much about medicine, as he's never really gotten that much sick before. Granted, he'd never really gotten sick before. He read the prescriptions, but there was just so many types, and so many words. She's been coughing, and she has a fever. Her head was burning. I guess one of these might be good. This is non-drowsy, the other is drowsy. This worked for 12, this one worked for 24 hours. There's one for day, there's one for night. Cherry flavor medicine. Okay, I probably should not give her a pill. She could choke, said Naruto. So liquid it is, he thought to himself. Good for 24 hours, good for high fever and sickness. Helps strengthen chakra veins. Take with full stomach. Naruto's eyes widened as he looked at her lips, before he looked back at the bottle. 1,000 ways to die. Naruto Uzumaki picked one. As she could not eat in her condition, he walked to the kitchen as he grabbed 2 slices of bread, as he chewed on them thoroughly. He had no other idea that he'd come up with, and if he did not do something, she might die. Please don't kill me, Naruto thought once again, as he placed his mouth over hers, as he pushed the food in her mouth and helped her slowly swallow it. Well, at least this time he was kissing a girl and not Sasuke. To be honest, this was not for enjoyment, not to mention the taste of blood was on her mouth. As he pulled back, she muttered something but he could not tell what. He waited for about 10 minutes before he gave her the medicine. She drank all the medicine, as Naruto retrieved some of the female pajamas that he got from one of the homes, and quickly dressed her inside, with her wound bandaged and wrapped. As Naruto left her on the bed, making sure that she was in a comfortable position before he stepped out. She didn't cough anymore. It seems the medicine was working. Naruto gasped as thunder raced across the sky with such force. The apartment shook violently, causing him to steady himself. He checked on Kurenai. She was okay. But what if she didn't get better, he thought to himself. Why was she the only one out there? Where were the others? As Naruto pulled out his pencil, before he marked the restaurant that he found Kurenai before going to the house as food. Everything was piled onto his young shoulders. There was so much that he had to do. As Naruto leaned back to the wall, another thunder racing across the sky. As Naruto saw something that he picked up, it was a book, a journal of sorts, but it was empty. Naruto used his pencil as he started to write. Naruto log, day 1. Time skip. Naruto log, day 4. 3 days have passed since I started to make this journal. Hinata sensei is still asleep. She mumbled from time to time. I've had to wipe sweat off her forehead. She mumbled about Shino, Kiba, Hinata. Mostly Hinata. I don't know what she's talking about, but I'm glad to see that she's fine. I've left on a few looting adventures, but I don't go for too long. I'd rather not leave Kurenai-san by herself while she's resting. I brought back some more food, but most of the meat that are in the refrigerators are filled with maggots and flies. I guess bugs can survive just fine. Since finding Kurenai 3 days ago, I haven't found anyone else. The rain is slowly eating away at my rooftop. Other buildings have crashed down. Other buildings have drifted off to nowhere. I don't know how long this apartment will last for. I hope Kurenai-san get better soon. As Naruto closed the journal and released a breath, as he leaned back in his chair. The wind wasn't blowing this bad this time. Dark clouds still ruled the skies, but at least he could see a bit better. He gathered what he could. He brought back case of water bottles, canned goods. He looked at his clock. It was time for Kurenai medicine. He had just fed her by the lips earlier, so he didn't have to do it again. He hadn't said that he gotten used to kissing her, however. There was no hesitation this time. As he touched her and smiled, at least. You don't have a fever this time. As he held her head up, as he gave her the medicine. Once she drank all of it, he eased her back in pillow. After that, he cleaned her body with lukewarm water and soap. Yep, her body still embarrassed the hell out of him, however. He tried to get over it. With those tasks done, he pulled the covers up towards her neck and let her rest. He then moved towards his futon on the floor. He set it up to give her more space in the bed. The next morning, Naruto got up. He smiled as some color finally returned back to her face. He fed her breakfast and gave her medicine again. Once she was resting peacefully, he closed the door to his bedroom. As he made his way to the bathroom and started to clean himself, another splash before he was ready for breakfast. He had got all the instant cup ramen from a noodle store. It took him some time to heat up the water, and about 5 minutes for him to fill the cup of ramen. He was in heaven only for an instant once it was done. Pulling out his map, numerous places had been crossed out or wrote over. Let's see, I should probably search for somewhere else to live in case this building collapsed. Kurenai's only on phone for 4 days now. I only got 4 hours to be out before I have to come back and give her her medicine. As Naruto steeled himself, there was a place in the map that he was trying to avoid because he knew if he go there he wouldn't like what he saw. Still, now was not time for him to be scared. This world was different. Gone was the world that he knew. And if he couldn't do this, what was the point of him even saving Hinata-sensei? Placing his goggles over his eyes, he wrote Kurenai a letter on the off chance that she might wake up and he was not here and she would be confused. As he tore it and placed it right beside her bed. As Naruto went by the rooftops this time, hopping across from roof to roof. Thankfully the wind wasn't harsh today. It was a pretty nice day. Well, nice for hell on earth, but you get the idea. There was still no sun as the clouds were that thick, but at least rain was not falling. Looking through, it seemed like the god of death had just wiped his hand throughout the village, ending everything and decaying everything. Destruction laid everywhere. Children's parks had been destroyed and wiped out. Rubble of buildings, corpses, melted skin. As Naruto tried not to look, the faces that were once on the mountain was no longer there. All of them crumbled away and gone. As Naruto saw the few strands of the 40 Kage's head, he knew it because he had sat there multiple times before. It was his hair. That was all that remained. As Naruto kept on moving. As Naruto clenched his fist so tight, academy students were always ushered to the bunkers that was in the monument. That meant Konoha, Udon, Mogi, Iruka-sensei. They were all gone. Naruto turned as he started to walk. As Naruto was getting closer to his destination, as he saw corpses in the street, they were getting more and more as he moved toward the destination. He always thought that he would get congratulated for winning the Chunin exams, not coming back to a graveyard of corpses. Jumping down, Naruto landed. He really needed to get some boots. Corpses were gathered in one spot, he figured. The people all got bunched up. Nothing living around. Everything was crushed. He then smelled something. What's that smell, he thought. As he entered the dark passage of the Chunin exam stadium, his footsteps echoed throughout the place. All around him was death and destruction. Limbs, body parts, all over the walls. Everything was just so much. As he walked, he felt like he was being followed. As he remembered his sensei telling him, always trust your instincts. Shinobis don't get randomly paranoid. If something felt wrong, then it was. Naruto stopped walking and glanced behind him. Nothing changed. His blue eyes darted left, then they darted right. He saw nothing out of the ordinary, so he kept on walking. However, he did not get far as he saw something. A familiar speck of green. As Naruto clenched his fists, as he saw the remainder of the bowl cut, beside him was another boy. The markings on his face gave away who he was. In his arms, there was the bones of an animal. Kiba. Bushiroad, said Naruto. Kiba and Lee were dead, their bodies against the wall. Kiba was one of Kurenai's genin. What was he gonna tell her when she woke up? Naruto did not know if he cried or not, he just felt numb as he stared at the scene. Even when everything was going to shit, he thought that some of them might have gotten away. Maybe he was being naive. He offered them a silent prayer. If even them didn't make it and he wasn't seeing anyone else, what other hope was he holding on to? His path led him to a row, where the benches were. More bodies laid over the seats. Each one was more disturbing than the last. It was hard to even look at it. Still, there was a reason why he was here. Not many people knew this, but the stadium had a network of stairs that led towards the village. If he could get the power restored to one of the lower areas, it would be a better place to live because it was more secure and protected. But he did not know anything about generators, electricity or power. Plus, he still had this ominous feeling and he was getting pissed. Seeing a staircase, he cautiously made his way down there. The further he got, the stench got even more. As Naruto slowly made his way down even more, he opened some doors, but he saw nothing important inside. It was just empty storage room, or some things that were, well, not useful to him. Naruto spun as he heard something crash behind him. It sounded like metal. Grabbing his kunai, Naruto turned off the flashlight that he had on. Though he didn't want to be stumbling around dark, if he was an enemy, he didn't want them to know where he was. As he hid himself behind a couple of boxes, he held his mask over his face. Whatever was down here, it was the worst thing that he had ever smelled in his entire life. He sat there for a while, but nothing happened and nothing changed. This time he went a bit quieter, as he walked with small steps, making his way. As Naruto finally smelled a stench, it came from this room. Grabbing the handle, Naruto turned it. It was too dark to see. Turning on his flashlight, he saw a trail of blood flowing towards the corner of the room. He held up the flashlight, his eyes widening in shock. The flashlight hit in the ground. "Hey, what are you doing out there? You're gonna catch a cold in the rain. Why don't you come in here and have a hot bowl of ramen, kid? It's on me." "Oh hey Naruto, my best customer. Haven't seen you in a long while. Have any cool mission stories for me today?" The words of Toki passed through his mind as the flashlight fell from his hand and rolled. As the man tried to say something, but it was barely hearable. Naruto dropped to his knees as he threw up. His world felt like it was fading. He grabbed his forehead as he felt dizzy. What kind of world was this? What hell did he wake up in? Naruto held up his head. Was he crying? He didn't even know. He felt like he was gonna pass out. "Toki," Naruto yelled. As he stared at the wall, he held in his thoughts. Stuck to the wall from some kind of demented yellow tissue was the owner of Ichiraku Ramen, Toki, stuck to the wall. His face looked bloated with splotches and pores. Rats sniffed at his legs and some of his skin had peeled off. Other parts looked like they had been eaten. Then there was his stomach. Naruto knew Toki for most of his life. The man never had a gut that big, as it moved left and right. Toki spasmed as one eye that Naruto saw rolled back into his head. His finger twitched as Naruto raised his fist and drive it in the floor. So powerful was his fist, he left a huge impact in the ground. As he reached into his backpack and pulled out an explosive note. "Toki, I swear to you," said Naruto, "if I find Ayame, I'll protect her." And I Uzumaki Naruto staked my life on it. "Believe it," said Naruto. "I'm sorry I didn't get to you in time. I'll protect her. I'll survive. She'll survive. I promise," said Naruto. As he stared at the horrific blob that was once his friend, as he bit his thumb so hard enough to draw blood. With that blood, he sneered his knuckles as he shot them towards Toki. And Uzumaki Naruto never go back on his word. As he tied the explosive to a kunai. Ayame. Toki's voice came out in a low moan. As Naruto grabbed the match and lit it with fire. As the tag ignited, "I won't leave you to suffer," said Naruto as he threw it, as it stabbed into the wall. He then turned and started to walk. Naruto. As Naruto closed the door, he ran as a thunderous explosion blasts the door from the hinges. Fire roared from the room as he wiped his tears. He knew not what lay ahead for him, but he could no longer hesitate. He couldn't afford to lose his nerve. He could not show weakness. It's time for him to wake the hell up. Though he had already given up on turning this place into a new base, it still had suitable things if he wished to come back. "I'll find you, Ayame," said Naruto. However, even as he had that thought, he wondered what turned Toki into that thing on the wall, and what was in his stomach. Why was it moving like that? But he had no answers for himself as he kept on walking, making his way. Around 5 to 10 minutes later he noticed there was a small light under one of the doors. Cautiously he stepped towards it. However, unlike the other rooms, there was chairs, boxes, covering the door, blocking it. If Ayame was behind there, he would not spook her. Still, what made them put up this barrier? As he reached and knocked slowly, "Ayame-chan," he said. He didn't know why he was being so quiet, but something told him to speak softly. He got no answers. He took the door handle and twisted it, however it was locked. Taking the kunai that he had, he stabbed it into the door. It took some doing, but he was able to pry open the door. Stepping aside over the things and pushed them aside, he stepped inside. The door locked behind him. The light he had seen was from a series of light bulbs ahead. As Naruto realized, he was in a boiler room. Pipes were everywhere, steam coming from several of them. As Naruto's instincts kicked in as he ducked, something crashed against the wall. Before he swung his kunai, blocking something metal. Naruto turned as he noticed kunai had clashed with an iron pipe. However, his eyes widened in shock when he saw Ayame standing over him. Her eyes filled with nothing but rage and hatred. He had never seen an expression like that on her face ever before. "Ayame-chan, wait, it's me, Naruto." "You even took Naruto-kun away. He was a nice boy. You took him as well." Naruto ducked and backed away. "Wait, it's really me, I swear. I'm here to get you out of here." Your dad," said Naruto. "He said your name. So I figured that you were down here as well," said Naruto. "I'm happy to see that you're alive." Her hair was unkempt and wild. Bags appeared under her eyes. Her skin looked pale. Clothes were torn and worn out. Her steps were unsteady. "Don't talk to me. My father has been gone for over 2 weeks. It was you," she said. "The others didn't believe me, but I know. I told them not to go. You took them. The darkness took them. It followed you, didn't it?" Naruto was confused. Was she hysterical, he wondered. "Ayame-chan, please, it's me. I promise," said Naruto. "Shut up," she yelled as she rushed towards and swinging the pipe. As Naruto ducked and dodged once again, the pipe crashed into the stone wall. Naruto was shocked. Damn, for a civilian, she really had some power. She cracked the wall with that iron pipe so easily. Naruto-kun is gone. Everyone is gone. I'm the only one left. I haven't slept or eaten for days. I know if I do, it will come for me, just like it came for you and my father. For everyone else's sake, I won't let it happen to me too. I'll avenge everyone," she said as she stumbled forward. She screamed as she swung as Naruto kept on moving back, making no attempts to hurt her. She bashed into the boilers, the pipes, and the wall as she swung and swung and swung and swung. As she tripped and fell over herself. "Ayame-chan," Naruto thought worriedly. "I told Dad not to go," she said. "But they didn't listen. I heard the explosion. He didn't make it. And now everyone is gone. I'm all that's left. If I go, I'll at least take you with me," she said. As she brought the pipe down towards him, she wondered why he didn't move. But it was her shot. She brought it down with tremendous force, however, Naruto reached up. The pipe slammed down on him as he caught it. He grabbed it and her and pulled her close. She roared, "Let go of me," she screamed. "I'll kill you. You took everything from me. What's happened to the world? Why did this happen?" She wailed and cried as Naruto held onto her tight. As she collapsed, caused Naruto to fall as well. As she cried on his shoulder, her fist pounded his chest. "I'm sorry, Ayame-chan," said Naruto. I was too late to save you or Tuki. I'm sorry I couldn't help you. But I'm here now though," said Naruto. "And I'll keep you safe, no matter what. I'll make sure that you're not alone anymore. We'll survive." As her sobbing slowly stopped. As Naruto turned when he heard snoring. She had fallen asleep so quickly. Her breath tickled his neck as it shivered him a bit. At least she was not that sick. That was a good thing. As Naruto remembered her words, the darkness took them. It followed you. What was going on? What she said. Does that have to do why Tuki was in that state? Just what the hell was going on? What happened to everyone? Why were they just gone? He had to get out of here. If there was something around here that can do that to him, he'd rather not find out. Not to mention he had to make sure Ayame was somewhere safe. Naruto picked her up as he ran so fast. He was shocked that he did not hit anything on the way out. However, the faster he went, the faster the feeling sped up. Something Something was following him. Something was there. He ran so fast he thought his heart might give out as he started to sweat. However, the feeling was getting worse as Naruto's speed increased. His legs were sore, but he did not stop. Luckily for him, he saw the stairs as he ran up there. "We're almost there, Ayame-chan. Just a bit more," said Naruto. As Naruto reached out, something grabbed his leg. It was wet. Naruto glanced down as he saw a wet, strange tentacle holding on to his leg. What the? Naruto fell. However, he held Ayame so his hands were what hit the ground. As her body dropped down on his hands, he made sure her head was up so it did not hit the floor. The thing started to pull him and yank him back into the darkness. As the tentacles went after her, Naruto pulled out a tag. "You took you whatever you are. You're not getting her too." Naruto struck the ground with his kunai. The sparks lit up the explosive tag as he tossed it. A loud explosion went off as Naruto heard a scream. An unhuman scream down below. The tentacles released his leg as Naruto grabbed Ayame. His speed seemed to have doubled as Naruto was running on fear and adrenaline right now as he moved. He inhaled and exhaled. He was tired. He was dead tired as he moved. He was also bleeding. His pants was torn where the thing had hold on to his leg. He pulled the cover over Ayame's face as he made sure she wouldn't inhale the dust and dirt. His vision was getting hazy. His breath became short. What's going on? As Naruto crashed into a wall, holding Ayame in his hands. He could barely breathe as he kept on moving. "Gotta stay awake. Gotta stay awake." However, he couldn't as Ayame fell. Luckily, his body had leaned against the wall so she did not hit the ground hard. Stupid brats. Fine, consider this a death that you will have to repay. A voice went off that he did not know where it came from before everything went dark. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share all of your friends in social media platform. And also guys, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, yes, I indeed have 4 channels that I post 45 every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead, check them out and yeah, enjoy. And don't forget to go ahead and comment down below if you're new so I can reply and talk to you myself, guys. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode without wasting any more time, guys? What am I saying? Let's get the hell out of here. See you guys soon. Peace.